This is VOA News. I'm Alexis Strope. And as Israel's ground incursion into Gaza continues, diplomats continue pushing for a ceasefire while Israel's government is determined to continue the siege on the embattled enclave. AP correspondent Karen Shamus reports.
In a speech to the UN Security Council, the head of the World Health Organization, Dr. Tedros Adhanom Ghebreyesus, said the death toll in Gaza is rising at an alarming rate.
A child is killed every 10 minutes in Gaza.
French President Emmanuel Macron pushed for a ceasefire and urged other leaders to join his call. Macron told the BBC there was no justification for Israel's ongoing bombing. However, Israel's Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu said the responsibility for any harm to civilians lied with Hamas. I'm Karen Shamas.
The leader of Lebanon's militant Hezbollah group says his fighters have introduced new weapons, including a missile with a heavy warhead, in the ongoing fighting along the Lebanon-Israel border. Saeed Hassan Nasrallah said Saturday Hezbollah will keep using the tense frontier to pressure Israel. Nasrallah blasted the United States over the war in Gaza, saying it is the only country that can stop Israel's wide offensive on the Gaza Strip, but doesn't do so. The United States and China are the two global economic heavyweights. Combined, they produce more than 40% of the world's goods and services. So when Washington and Beijing do economic battle, the rest of the world suffers too. And when they hold a rare high-level summit, as President Joe Biden and Xi Jinping will this week, it can have global consequences. The world's economy could surely benefit from an easing of relations between the U.S. and China. Hopes have risen that Washington and Beijing can at least cool some of their economic tensions at the Asia-Pacific Economic Cooperation Summit. For pictures, videos, stories, and more, follow The Voice of America on X, Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. This is VOA News. Despite being treatable and curable, tuberculosis, or TB, remains one of the world's deadliest infectious diseases, causing an estimated 1.3 million deaths in 2022, according to the latest World Health Organization figures. Henry Ridgwell reports.
The 19% fall in deaths from TB is still far short of the World Health Organization's target of a 75% reduction by 2025. Funding also fell short, reaching less than half of the WHO target of at least $13 billion for TB diagnosis, treatment and prevention services in 2022. Governments committed to spending $22 billion a year on TB by 2027 at a special UN meeting in September. Henry Ridgwell, VOA News, London.
Thousands of children in South Africa's poorest and most remote rural communities still face a miles-long walk to school nearly 30 years after the country ushered in democratic change. The hardships reflect huge rifts in society and the lack of equal access to education. In some places, children walk for 2 hours, about 10 kilometers to their schools. The lack of government-funded school transportation has led to a myriad of dangers. Girls face the threat of assault, and robberies are rampant. Parents, local leaders, and activists say the situation perpetuates already existing inequalities in a country described by the World Bank as the most unequal in the world. U.S. House of Representatives Speaker Mike Johnson unveiled a Republican stopgap spending measure on Saturday aimed at averting a government shutdown. But the measure quickly ran into opposition from lawmakers from both parties in Congress. Reuters correspondent Angela Johnston reports.
The Republican-controlled House and Democratic-led Senate must agree on a spending measure that President Joe Biden can sign into law by Friday, or risk another partial government shutdown. That would disrupt pay for millions of federal workers, shutter national parks, and interrupt a range of activities from financial oversight to scientific research. Johnson's plan would provide funding for some parts of the federal government until January 19th and other agencies until 2 weeks after that. House Republicans hope to pass it on Tuesday. The bill comes a day after ratings agency Moody's lowered its outlook on the nation's credit to negative.
Angela Johnston from Reuters. The U.S. state of Virginia State House will soon have its first black speaker in its more than 400-year history after the chamber's incoming Democratic majority on Saturday chose Delegate Don Scott to serve in the post. Scott was unanimously elected speaker designee by the House Democratic Caucus on Saturday. The full House of Delegates will vote to confirm him on the first day of the 2024 legislative session. Scott is a trial lawyer and a U.S. Navy veteran from Portsmouth. I'm Alexis Strope, VOA News.
Thank you for watching. Can you do me a favor? Please leave a comment in the comment section below. That would really help. Thank you, and see you again soon.